What's happening? This is Remi Dee.
This is Jason Marsden.
And you're listening to the
Horror Squad Podcast.
Horror Squad Quadcast. The Horror Squad Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Horror Squad Podcast. This is episode number 350, where tonight we will be talking about 1941's The Wolfman. A little bit of Universal Monster action for you all. Happy October, everyone. We've made it. It is spooky season. It is our time. We are here for you all. It's amazing. I'm a little under the weather, so I apologize maybe for my voice tonight. But you know what? We'll do it live, as always. I'm here, of course, as always, with Steve and Todd. Steve, we got an interview tonight.
We do. We are continuing our little Hocus Pocus run of interviews here with, this time, we're going to talk to two people. We're going to talk to Jason Marsden, who, of course, voices Binks the Cat in Hocus Pocus, among many, many, many other roles. You've probably seen him in a lot of your childhood TV shows and stuff like that, so it'll be fun to talk to him about that. And also, Remi Dee, who is a burlesque performer, very good cosplayer, and also a horror fan. So we're going to talk to both, and we haven't recorded it at the time that we're doing this, spoiling it, but I'm sure it's going to be awesome because we've spoken to them multiple times in the past, and they're just great people. So stay tuned for that at the end of the show.
Absolutely. And Todd, we got a little Indiegogo thing going on, don't we?
We do. We
What
do
we
the
got for
final
an
episode. Well, we are currently up to 84% funded, which is freaking cool. And that's off 49 backers. So 49 of you guys are, doing the ultimate, man, hooking us up with some money, and it's truly appreciated. Like I said, times are tough for everybody. So if you can't help with money, that's understandable, but please spread the word. Send the link to a horror fan in your life, something like that. I do have a couple of shout outs per the perks. So a couple of the perks on here are, podcast shout outs. You got signed scripts, you got screen use, shark mask from Steve's there, and it's all this good shit. But here's one from our homie, Mr. Zach Trigg. And, thanks to him. Thank you so much for your support. And he just wanted to say that he's super proud of us and incredibly excited to see our film. And he did a little hashtag Horror Squad Podcast for life. So Zach, thank you very much, sir. That's really awesome of you. And we have one more who also bought the shout out perk, and that goes to Noelle Ferreira, who was a little doll that we met over in Monterville last month, and she's going to be up in Salem, which I can't wait to hang out with her again. So Noelle, thank you for your support as well. And like we said a couple times, go over to Indiegogo, look up the final episode, and you'll see our little thing pop up. I think we're third on trending on their whole site right now, which is freaking cool. So like I said, 84%, almost there, man. And we have 43 days left. So I think we'll smash that.
Hell yes. And if you're coming to our Hocus Pocus event, we might have a couple posters to get, not many, but we might have one to give away to some lucky person. But yeah, we printed out a few test posters just to see for our perks, and they came out really, really awesome. So I'm really excited about that. Once again, thank you so much to Zach and Noelle. Once again, another shout out to them. We appreciate all the support you have given us. And if you would like to support us, head over. It's linked over on our Instagram and pretty much everywhere else. So go and get us to that 100% and beyond. We'll take 200%. We'll take 1,000%. Whatever you want to give us, we'll take it. So we appreciate it, and we're really excited to get filming. I mean, filming's already started. We're gonna be filming during our event coming up, and it's gonna be really, really awesome. So thank you to everyone once again for your support. It's really appreciated. And once again, don't forget, it's just a bunch of Halloween weekend is literally 1 week away. What? When did this happen? 1 week away from our event with the cast of Hocus Pocus. You can head to itsjustabunchofhalloween.com for any and all details, but it's going to be just an awesome weekend of events. We were literally just going over it before we came on the air.
Is this the last time you'll say this?
Yeah, no, next Friday, I guess, but it will be that weekend. So one more
Yeah, we'll be
time.
recording at the
Yeah.
place, right? Next week,
Yeah.
next episode.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Like I said, I mean, Friday is the party. We're gonna be hanging out. We're gonna have awesome costumes that I think Steve will be bringing for us. So I can't wait to post a photo of the three of us in those costumes. So yeah, come hang out with us at the party. You can use if you want to come to the party and you haven't bought tickets yet, you can use code Buncha Horror Squad 24 for 20% off your ticket. So there you go, right there. It's gonna be awesome. And then Saturday, we are going to be doing the meet and greet signing at the Salem Waterfront Hotel. We will have a table set up there doing a live podcast. There will also be vendors this year, which will be cool. We picked out some spooky themed vendors. Sam will be there, Halloween Happy, along with a ton of other vendors. Eternal October, who I just bought some awesome stuff from this year. They got a bunch of awesome horror stuff. A great Thanksgiving shirt they just came out with. So go check them out on Instagram, as well as a guy who makes Jason masks. And so there'll be a bunch of Halloween and horror themed vendors there as well. We will be doing a live podcast. We will have free swag to give out. So come and join us for that. And then, of course, Sunday, the screening at the Cabot Theater. We will be emceeing that event. It's pretty close. I think like 85% sold out. I think 600 tickets have been sold for that. So we're super excited for that. So join us for any and all of the events next weekend. It's going to be an awesome time. And I think that's about it for a little intro. Oh, I had a spooky weekend. I don't know if anyone else did, but I went to Halloween on the Hill, which has become our yearly tradition. It's like thousands upon thousands of carved jack-o'-lanterns. It's really cool. They have different sort of themed areas. They got like dinosaur themed, movie themed, a little bit of everything. A lot of horror themed pumpkins this year, which was really cool to see. Norman Bates, Freddy, Chucky, everything. It was really, really awesome. And then we hit up Spooky World, which is a haunt in the area. It's been like a New England tradition for the past like 30 years. But really awesome haunt. They had a great hayride. It's like a 25-minute long haunted hayride, along with a few other haunts, but nothing like a great haunted hayride.
I
And
love
I
hay rides.
yeah, haunted hayride. This haunted hayride, man, they went like all out. They even did like a Christmas themed area, which was really, really awesome. It reminded me of I know it wasn't really a really popular show, but Nosferatu, where like they went into Christmas land. It kind of like had a vibe like that, which was really, really cool. But man, some of the animatronics, like they had that fucking Krampus animatronic that like is massive that you see where he's holding like the kid by the feet and stuff like that. Like they have some really awesome stuff. So if you're ever in the area, head over to Spooky World. They are pretty cool. And yeah, what about you guys? Anything spooky
Oh,
this
Steve went
weekend?
to
or-
Universal.
That's right, Steve. What the fuck, man?
Come
We forgot
on.
about this. Give us a full breakdown.
Yeah, I did. Actually, I just want to also give the shout out to Zach and Noel. Zach, really, really great person to follow on Letterboxd. It's ZTrigg 15. I love following him because he really has like a range of horror films that he watches. So it's stuff that I haven't like heard of before, I haven't seen, and he's got great opinions and definitely check him out there. So thank you, Zach. And actually, Noelle, funny enough, so we met her like Todd said in Monroeville a few months ago. She was actually at the exact same hotel that I was going to at Disney World, and we missed each other by just a few hours. So if I just flown in earlier or she had flown in a little later, we would have crossed paths and probably had a drink or something. So unfortunately, I did not get this year, but I will see her in Salem. So thank you, Noelle, for the support. Speaking of which, I did go to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. Not for horror fans, not like the best party. It's like, it's basically like a watered down version of Halloween, but it's still very cool vibes, great fireworks. I got to try two new attractions, Tron, which is fucking amazing, and Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which is basically Splash Mountain with a redesign. I mostly just did attractions and trick or treating. Got a ton of candy, so that's all I did there. But then I did go to Halloween Horror Nights, Universal Studios Orlando, and that was a ton of fun, man. Not the best lineup this year, at least in my opinion, but the houses that I was excited for did deliver in a big way. There was Ghostbusters Afterlife, which was really cool. There was A Quiet Place, which I didn't think would be a good house. I didn't know how they'd translate that to a haunted house, but they did a really good job of doing it. It's quiet. There's no music or anything, which is really cool. And then the monsters just come out of nowhere, and that's awesome. They also had a really great original house called Monstrous, which is about Latin American kind of legends and stuff like that. They had some amazing set pieces in that. But the highlight by far was Insidious. They called Into the Further. Absolutely fucking amazing house. 10 out of 10. One of the best houses I've ever seen in 13, 14 years since I've been going to Halloween Horror Nights. They perfectly captured all 5 movies. It was like the way they set it up was really scary and atmospheric. And I went through it 4 times, and each time I liked it more and more. It's just, God, the level of detail in that house and everything, fantastic. So they did an amazing job with that. And yeah, I bought a bunch of merch, just mostly Insidious and Ghostbusters. But yeah, it was a really great year. I really had a lot of fun, and I'll definitely be there next year. And I also want to mention there was an Epic Universe preview center there. Epic Universe is the third gate that they're going to open at Universal Studios Orlando, and I got to see what they're planning for the Monsters universe. They call it Dark Universe, and I think it's going to be fucking rad. So, horror fans, that should be a destination. Next September, October, you get both Halloween Horror Nights and Dark Universe at Epic Universe. So, yeah, it's a great trip. It was a ton of fun, and I got fucking lucky because there was a hurricane that just missed Orlando. Now, unfortunately, a lot of people did get affected, including one of our really good listeners, Katie. So I hope everything's going well over there in Asheville, Carolina. And yeah, my thoughts are with everyone there who lost their homes and stuff. So
Yeah, they got slammed, man. It's
yeah,
crazy
really
to see.
badly.
Yeah. Hopefully it all gets taken care of soon and they're just possessions. So if everyone's safe, that's what matters, right?
Yep.
Still sucks though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you had a good time.
I did. It's awesome.
Yes. So are you giving us rankings? Each
Yeah,
house?
I could give a really quick ranking.
Yeah, let's hear it.
All
House
right.
Slaughter Cinema.
Amazing. Dude, Todd, you would have shit your pants. There's
Oh, what was it? Slaughter Cinema?
Yeah, it's called Slaughter Cinema. It's so there's this room. It's basically each room is a different like B movie that they create. So you enter like a room, it says what movie you're going into, and then it like represents that movie in like a room. And one of them was called Blood of Chum or something like that. And there's a like gigantic fucking shark
Ugh, fuck
head
that.
that comes out of the wall
Nice.
and like lunges
Yuck.
at you. It was amazing, just really, really cool. My ranking from lowest to highest. So number 10, you had Deadly Museum Exhibits, which I thought was a little boring. 9 was Eternal Bloodlines, which is the Universal Monsters house that they had this year, which it was like the daughters of the Universal Monsters. I don't know, it just didn't translate very well. Then you had Major Sweets Candy Factory, which was basically just like a guy's candy factory, and then you go into the boiler room where he like creates this shit and kills people and stuff like that. Then you had Triplets of Terror, which was kind of a southern, kind of deliverance type house. Goblin Feast, which was just like these weird trolls that were in like these fire villages. Then you had Ghostbusters, A Quiet Place, which I talked about, Slaughter Cinema, which I just talked about. That was really cool. Monstrous, and then finally Insidious, which was an easy 10 out of 10. So, oh, and one thing I do want to mention as well. So Blumhouse had a scare zone, and you know what? I think Megan 2 is gonna fucking wreck house. Like the popularity that Megan has is insane. So they had an actress, like just a little girl dressed as Megan in the Blumhouse area. And no joke, every time I'd walk there, there'd be a huge crowd just gathering around her just to watch her like do the dance, just stand there. And she had three fucking security guards, 2 cops and a Universal employee watching at all times. Like, it's crazy the popularity that that character has. And they also had this cool bar that had a Blumhouse theme this year and 80s kind of vibe. And there was a Megan like setup there, and people were just lining up to take pictures and shit like that. It's crazy. And join our Discord because I posted a ton of pictures, including the Megan and all that stuff and stuff in that page, and it's absolutely free. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. There's a lot of cool stuff there. But man, I knew she was popular, but she could become like a horror icon because people just relate to her in that weird way.
They like
Yeah.
robots, man.
Hey, yeah, right, AI, which I have a couple of robot AI movies to talk about and I'll watch in a little bit. But yeah, but I think it's like the perfect blend of like gateway horror and also like adults like it too. So like you're bringing in the kids because it's like a kid character, but also like adults dig it too because of the AI robot stuff. Also, it's so like relevant right now with everything going on. So yeah, it really is the right time for Megan, and like her merch is going crazy right now. I saw NECA's making like a bunch of figures of her and stuff like that. So yeah, her and Art the Clown right now are just the two hottest things
Horror's
going.
darlings, man.
Indeed, yeah.
Would you guys get a Megan signature on anything? Whoever the fucking
Um,
actress was?
yeah,
I
so
would.
there's two different ones, right? So there's the one that provided the voice, and then the
Mhm.
one that was at Texas Frightmare when I went a couple years ago was
Yeah,
the
same
actual
year I went.
actress
Mm.
in the yeah, it was the actual person in the costume. I mean, I skipped her,
Yeah.
maybe like in time, like I would do it. Like it's not anything I feel
They'll
necessary
be
right
doing
now.
it for years, so we have
Oh
time.
She
yeah,
probably wouldn't play
for
Megan
sure.
again though, right? Because
Yeah,
Megan's
she's gonna be
supposed to
too
be a
young.
certain, yeah,
Yeah.
Was
like
it
it's
a child that played the
it's a
body?
child actor, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
assume
Well,
eventually, yeah, she's
it's
gonna
just
be too
they
old
build her
now.
taller. They rebuild her
Right.
taller. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah.
You're right.
That's gonna be the problem with Little Pale Girl, and like I don't
It's
know if
true.
I still haven't heard like if she's coming back for
Yeah,
Terrifier
they
3.
haven't showed anything, eh?
There hasn't been like one thing about her.
Mm.
So I don't know if she's gonna like transfer souls or if they're just gonna get a different young actress to play her or something like that. It's gonna be interesting. But man, the early reviews for Terrifier 3 are fucking crazy. It's like at
Promising.
night it's at 92% right now on Rotten Tomatoes, and that's not from just like horror publications.
Right.
That's from like legit like websites and stuff like that. So I'm very, very excited.
It's popular, man. Like Saw, the re-release gets like 2 showings here in Kentucky, but
Hmm.
Terrifier 3 has like 50. So
Yeah,
it's like it's popular, man. It's
it's
pretty cool.
yeah, it
It's we're seeing
is.
it real time. It's pretty cool.
It is. This is the first I feel like birth of a horror icon we've witnessed, because we weren't alive for the 80s really, or we were all really young in the 80s, so we really didn't see the rise of, Freddy and Jason and stuff like
Maybe
that. So this
Ghostface
is
a little bit for
yeah,
me.
Ghostface for sure. But I don't know. There's just something Ghostface is also like a different killer every time, right? Whereas Art
Right.
is just that solo person. And just like to see I mean, I remember like when the first Terrifier came out, like David Howard Thornton fucking was just sitting there with no line, just like
Yeah.
waiting for someone to come up to his table. And now the dude has like fucking it's starting to get to like Robert Englund's status. Not quite, because he's like not as
Mhm.
much of a talker as Robert Englund, but he has like these massive lines now.
Well,
It's
Lauren
impressive.
Rivera has fucking huge lines,
Her,
dude.
yeah, right. Yeah, she's
Mm.
the new big final girl,
Yeah,
and from what I heard, she kills it in this new one. So, yeah,
I'm excited.
yeah, very excited. Which we'll be covering it
Mhm.
in just a couple weeks. So stay tuned. All right, gentlemen.
That was the longest fucking
I was
intro
like,
of all
I was
time.
gonna say,
Yeah.
all right. I was gonna be like, all right, gentlemen. That was probably our longest intro
And we're wrapped.
we've
Yeah.
ever done. So let's get into the show now. What you been watching this week?
Ooh, I want to talk about Trap because after we recorded last episode, I immediately watched it. And you know what, man? There is a really cool movie somewhere in this film. It's not what we see on screen, unfortunately, but it's there, right? And just to reiterate, excuse me, a dad takes his younger teenage daughter, or whatever, to a pop icon, her concert, and it turns out all the cops are planning a secret sting operation to get this serial killer known as the Butcher. And you know what? It's Josh Hartnett, the dad. So that sounds really fucking cool, man. That has like a basis to like, oh man, like we're gonna see some really cool kills. He's gonna have to do some crazy shit to get away from the cops. But unfortunately, it is just dumb as fuck the entire time, man. Josh Hartnett, like I really like his acting in it. He's fine. The daughter's fine. So there's no problem with the acting. It's just like, my gosh, like you guys both said it. How convenient can you make this plot? Like everything that happens to him, he gets out of it with like the most convenient way possible. Like he gets stopped on the roof by the cops. Why are you the fuck on the roof? He's like, oh, here's my badge, and he pulls out the wallet from a shirt he just stole, and it happens to have the fucking badge saying he's an employee. I'm like, really? That's how we're doing it? Um, the stupidest thing in this movie is the FBI and the cops or whatever tell every single employee inside of the convention center the entire plan to how to catch the fucking murderer. They even give them a code word to say, like, all right, if you're stopped by the cops, just tell them the code word and they'll let you by. Really? You're gonna tell, like, no offense to like the lowest ranked guy there, but you're telling the t-shirt salesman, which is exactly what they do, their master plan, and then Josh Hartnett manipulates the t-shirt salesman into telling him their master plan and to getting the code word of how to get out of the police clutches. It's so dumb on every level. There's so many things that do not make any sense. And then yeah, you have M. Night Shyamalan. His daughter's like the pop icon, and she does fine. You know what I mean? But it's just, whatever. She plays a extremely significant role towards the end of the film, which is just so fucking unbelievable. There's no way a Taylor Swift or a Katy Perry type singer is going to be putting herself in the situation to go with this random man to his house. It doesn't make any sense. The movie, unfortunately, like I said, has some good building blocks. I would love to see it in the hands of someone more serious directing it. And M. Night Shyamalan, he's no slouch, but this one is just not good. I give it a 1.5 out of 5. It is a very fun watch because it's so dumb, but is it a good movie? Not at all. So that's I don't remember the fucking title, Trap. And that's on demand, and I do not recommend buying it because it's not worth whatever price they're offering it right now. Wait till it's like $2.99 or something.
Lovely. All right. My first one tonight is a 2024 release, and it's a movie that just hit VOD recently. It's called Afraid. This one stars John Cho, who you might know from quite a few movies. But yeah, so this one is about essentially AI gone wrong, like we've seen a million times these days. But yeah, so he works for like a marketing company, and this company comes in and wants to market this new AI, and they're like, well, let's test it out with you and your family. So they bring this AI sort of thing. It's almost like an Alexa, I guess is the best way to describe it. It's sort of like this big thing in the middle of the house. And they call it Aya. And Aya seemingly makes everything better until she doesn't, until obviously the AI gets smarter and starts doing things that you wouldn't want AI to do. And yeah, that's basically the gist of the movie. I will say that the movie is a nice brisk like 78 minutes, which I'm like, wow, this movie got a theater release, and it's really short. But man, like I am really dumbfounded on how this even got a theater release, because the script is fucking terrible here. And I'm assuming it's just because they got John Cho, who's like a pretty, recognizable actor. But
What's he
man,
in? John Cho?
He's Harold
Harold
and
and Kumar.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Harold and Kumar, and he's been what was
Searching
that?
was a good one. Yeah.
Searching was another one he was in. Yeah, he's all over
Star
the
Trek.
place.
He's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah. American Pie movies
Yep.
as well.
Yeah, that's
He's
right. The MILF guy.
The final episode.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
maybe.
Maybe.
Yes.
We'll see.
Yes. Being
He's
taught.
not. He's not. Don't say what. He's not.
In discussions, maybe.
Yeah.
Not really, but hey, it could be. You never know. But yeah. So man, this is like, I'm pretty sure this is Blumhouse. I feel like it is. And this is like Blumhouse at its absolute worst. This is just like a complete and utter cash grab. Man, it's just like, it is the most cliched like AI movie I've ever seen. I do love AI Gone Bad, so I did get some enjoyment out of it, but at the end of the day, it just felt like I was like a shitty like Lifetime AI movie, really. Like there's just nothing there that is interesting about this movie, and the ending is so bad. So yeah, it's like I said, I still gave it 2 out of 5 because like it's enjoyable, like on a shitty level, like Todd kind of explained with Trap. But yeah, man, like I mean, for the most part, I would not spend money to watch this. If you can find it free somewhere, it's a perfect laundry day movie. You know, fucking fold your laundry, have it on the background type thing. There's a little bit of enjoyment there, but not enough to sit down, pay attention, and waste your money on it. So that's Afraid from this year.
All right. My first one is continuing my year-long project where every month I review a movie that somebody in our Discord picked for us, and this one was picked by Evan. That is 1988's Primal Rage, which I watched over on Tubi. So Primal Rage is about a group of scientists who develop like kind of a rage virus in a baboon, and shit, of course, goes wrong, and there's this like journalist who goes to the facility to try to expose them, and he releases the baboon and gets bit in the process, and then he starts kind of developing that rage virus, which he then gives to a trio of rapists and bullies, and then they go on a rampage to kill a bunch of people and do all sorts of really crazy shit. So that's kind of the basis of the story. This is a pretty typical like 80s film, and for the first like two acts, it's very kind of like a lot of 80s movies you've seen. It's people on a campus, and there's sex jokes, and there's like kind of that 80s humor, and I don't know. There was nothing. It was like that's not a bad thing. I love the 80s, but it felt a lot of like deja vu and stuff like that. But the final act, it turns into Halloween, and they're at a Halloween party and shit like that. Absolutely, just makes the movie worth checking out. It was a lot of fun. It gets gory. There's cool Halloween stuff like costumes and a party and stuff like that. So I think, if you can get through kind of the typical stuff at the beginning and get to the end, you'll see some really awesome shit. So I actually really enjoyed it. I gave it 3.5 stars out of 5. So that is Primal Rage over on Tubi. Yeah, it's awesome.
Nice. Sounds a lot like 28 Days Later
And a
in
lot
the
of,
beginning
yeah,
there.
yeah, and Outbreak, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll give my thoughts on Beetlejuice since I didn't get to see it before last week's episode. Overall, I give it a 3.5 out of 5. I thought it was a really fun movie. Performances are very strong. I love being back in that world. Tim Burton obviously brings the heat whenever he's in this like weird ass little world with your strange angles and your cool lighting, things like that. So it's just cool to be back there. Um, that being said, though, I thought there was a little bit too many threads going on, right? I really found it interesting, the whole, and I won't spoil it, 'cause, maybe you haven't gone to the theater, but there's a young boy that is met by, what's her face from freaking Scream 5, whatever.
Jenna Ortega.
Jenna Ortega, yeah. And I really liked her angle, like kind of the angsty teenager and stuff like that. So I really thought that part of the story is very interesting. I would have kind of stuck more than that. William Dafoe is a fantastic actor. I thought he did a great job in this, but I didn't really like his character because it kind of took up a little bit too much screen time, which I thought would have been better spent somewhere else. But like I said, he was amazing in it, but I just felt the character didn't really fit because I wanted more of the other ones. So there's a little bit extra stuff there. Beetlejuice's evil wife, I don't think was needed, but overall, I thought it was a really fun movie, and I'm pleasantly surprised because I thought I was going to fucking suck balls. But overall, it was really cool. I had a lot of fun with it. So that's 3.5 out of 5, and looking forward to a Beetlejuice, right? So a couple years from now, I'd imagine.
Hell yes. Yeah, we both get me and
You guys gave it 4s.
both gave it 4s. Yep.
Yeah.
And we pretty much said this same, very similar things you just said. So
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the only thing I reversed is I preferred the girlfriend's, like his wife's storyline than the boy storyline, because it was more like a afterlife storyline rather than
Yeah.
yeah.
But most
Awesome.
importantly, what did you think of Bob?
Bob, man, justice for
Justice
Bob.
for-
Reference.
Yep.
I'll reference your Letterboxd review there. Justice for
Right.
Bob. He didn't deserve it.
Right.
He didn't deserve it, man.
I think he's gonna come back. I think he's gonna be the
Yeah.
hero in the third one. So that's my theory. So
Nice.
let's hope. All right. And Michael Keaton hosting for you Saturday Night Live fans. Michael Keaton's gonna be hosting the Halloween episode, I believe, from what I heard. So
Yeah.
that should be pretty cool.
It was also strange how much they used the dad character from the first one. Like I
Yeah,
thought they were
We
just
yeah.
gonna
talked a lot
gloss
about
over it.
that. Yeah.
We did,
Yeah,
yeah. We
yeah, I won't
discussed.
reiterate it. I just thought it was a little bit strange that they kept going back to that. I was like, all
Right?
right, okay,
Mm-hmm.
weird, strange.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. Thank you.
Yes.
Did I talk about Sleep yet?
No.
I don't
No.
believe I did. Okay. So we got a screener for this one like a month ago at this point, but they were like, please don't talk about it until like the last week of September or whatever. So it's been a while since I've seen this, but I feel like it's one I definitely want to get the word out there for. This is a brand new release, 2024. Um, it is a Korean film, I believe. I could be wrong about that, but it's some sort of Asian-based film. My apologies for my ignorance on that. But this one is about these two newlyweds who seem like so the wife is pregnant, and this is basically the movie opens with the husband sort of sleepwalking, but he says someone's inside, and it creeps the wife out, and he starts like getting up and walking around the house and stuff like that. And what we come to find out is for some reason he is sleepwalking out of nowhere, and he has no recollection of this sleepwalking, and he literally does it every single night, and things progressively keep getting crazier and crazier every single night. So much so that she fears for her life, her unborn child's life. The child ends up getting born throughout in the movie, but she ends up fearing for her child's life at one point, a dog's life at one point. This man does some crazy shit in his sleep. And I don't want to say too much more because this movie takes some crazy twists and turns. And I gotta say, I loved this movie. I really did. This is top 10 potential for me for sure. It really is original in a lot of ways. The acting is phenomenal. Our rest in peace to the lead actor. This was his final film. He unfortunately committed suicide not long after this movie was filmed. But he was actually in Parasite as well. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we lost him, but man, he talk about a great final role for this guy. He is our lead actor in this movie, and I was like, shit. I was like we were offered an interview with the director, and I was like, damn, I want to get the lead actor. And then unfortunately I saw he had passed away. But a great way to for his legacy to end on this film, because it's a great movie. There's some issues I have with the ending, but overall, man, I just enjoyed the ride so much. I think it's definitely one that is going to be slept on, that probably a lot of people will not see because it is a foreign film. But for you horror fans out there, I would definitely recommend giving this one a try. So that is Sleep from this year. I give it a 4 out of 5.
Cool. I'll definitely have to check that out. My final one this week is a 2024 film, which I watched over on Amazon Prime, and that is Lisa Frankenstein. So, Lisa Frankenstein is directed by Zelda Williams, who is the daughter of the late and amazing Robin Williams, who is my favorite comedian. And this is her first film. So, I was kind of curious to see, how she would do and everything like that. And yeah, she's awesome. So the story is about a girl played by Catherine Newton, who most people would know from was it Freaky that she's I guess mostly known for. She was an Abigail as well, also an Ant-Man for those who watch that. And it's about a girl, she's kind of quirky, she has a interesting relationship with death. She goes to the cemetery a lot and that kind of stuff. And she's lonely, she doesn't have a boyfriend. She's starting to get to the point where she's getting horny, so she wants to meet someone. And out of nowhere, there's this particular tombstone that she really kind of fixates on because they had like the top of the tombstone has a bust of a guy, and and that guy eventually comes back to life, but he's got pieces missing. He's missing his ear, he's missing
His
his
wiener.
hand, and yes,
Oh,
and
his
more.
wiener too.
Yeah.
Nice.
And more. And he's pretty decrepit, he smells like shit, it's the whole thing. But then she realizes that if she kills people and takes like those pieces off of them, she can reattach to him and then put him in a tanning bed, which creates like some kind of fusion where those pieces reanimate. And each time he gains those pieces back, he starts to become more and more like human. So that's basically the gist of the story, is her trying to piece back together this guy and also the relationship between the two of them. Yeah, this is like a really well done on Zella Williams' part. Aesthetically, it's great. It's got a lot of color. It's interesting. Dialogue is quirky. It's very unexpected. Like there are scenes that I just did not see coming at all. There's like a scene with a certain wand, which I won't say more than that. That was like, huh, okay, we're going there, aren't we? um, and it's just a really fun film. The Catherine Newton and sorry, I forget the guy who plays the guy's name there, but they have a great chemistry together, and it's a modern day love story, and it's a really cool retelling of the Frankenstein's monster story, which we all know, of course. So I tip my hat to her. Very great film. I think people should check it out. It does have issues. It's got some pacing issues. There's convenient plot points, that like a lot of people are dying and a lot of people are not noticing that those people are dying, things like that. But overall, I think it was a delight and could be a contender for my top 10 this year. We'll see how the rest of the year shakes out, but check it out. That's Lisa Frankenstein over on Amazon Prime, and I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars.
Agreed. I love that movie. I think it's definitely top 10 worthy. So I definitely agree. I think more people should definitely check it out. Although it seems to have gotten a nice cult following already here. So
It deserves
and
it. It's really, yeah.
And I think I'm gonna meet her in November. We'll see.
Which
depending
one?
on her
Catherine,
line.
Newton?
Catherine Newton, yeah.
Okay.
She's gonna be at Monster Mania. If you're interested, Steve,
Yeah,
I'll
maybe.
see how her line is because I want to meet her and get a Lisa Frankenstein poster signed. So
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
we'll see.
get that.
Cool.
Freaky too, though.
Yeah, Freaky's
Freaky was
great
awesome,
too.
man.
Yeah, that's one I
They-
definitely need to rewatch. I only saw it the one time, but I remember like loving it at the time. I feel like it even might have made like top 10 that year. I don't remember, but so long ago. But
Yep.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for what watched. Todd, I heard you got some books.
I do.
Bust out the books, baby, because it's
All right.
time for trivia. Oh, and I need to mention, Steve did watch the Punishment movie. I did not.
So
But
no one knows what the
we are-
Punishment movie is. So
I don't remember what it was either. What did I assign?
It was Day of the Dead
Oh
2.
God, so
Contagion?
bad. Contagion something. This is fucking
Yes.
awful. So good luck.
The plan is, I think so. For those of you who don't know, we are planning to do a live podcast at our It's Just a Bunch of Halloween weekend event. We're gonna see, subject to change depending on how the audio sounds and whatnot. But we're definitely gonna give it the old college try. So my plan is that Steve and I can discuss that in person together on
Nice.
that episode. So let's hope.
Very cool. All right, quarter number 4, brand new final 3 months of the year. But our current standings are Steve in commanding lead with 53, myself second, 48, Joe, 42. Can we make up ground against the evildoer Steve? Will he two-peat? Will I retain my crown? Will Joe get his first victory? We'll see. Who would like to lead off today?
Ooh, I'll start, I suppose.
Okay.
So let's start off with a little bit of Wolfman trivia since we're doing it tonight.
Ooh, just watched it.
This one is a 2-pointer actually. So I'm
Two-pointer.
gonna I'm
Wow.
gonna give you one because
1
you're
point.
not probably not gonna get the second one.
Okay.
So I'm
Okay.
gonna give you this plus a bonus if you can get the bonus question. So
Okay.
our boy Lon Chaney,
Mm.
who plays, of course, the Wolfman.
Mhm.
If you didn't see my name tonight, I even put Joey Talbot in
Oh.
in honor of him.
Is there a big ass fucking picture of you in your room?
Yes.
Yes. Nice.
Yes. Thank
Portrait?
you.
Yeah.
Yes, there is. But all right. So my question is, how many hours did Lon Chaney sit in the makeup chair for his Wolfman transformation?
I would say
Well, that's-
8
8 hours for
Per
Steve.
day. Per day. I should.
per day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
per
yeah.
day.
I did 8 hours for the whole movie. It was like locked it on.
Impressive.
Let's see. Back in 41,
Mhm.
they were slapping pubes on his face.
Yeah.
Let's go with 11 hours.
11 hours, 8 hours, huh?
Yeah.
I'll give you both a second guess if you like, because you're both wrong.
5.
Todd,
Oh.
on the money, baby.
On the money. Let's go.
5 hours is correct. And for your bonus point, what did they use for the fur?
Oh,
That wasn't right already with fucking pubes? Imagine if it was. That'd be fucking insane.
Give me bear.
I will say it is an animal.
What is
of
it?
some
Dog,
kind.
dog fur.
I'd go bear.
Ooh,
Dog
bear.
fur, bear fur,
Yeah.
no. You'll never get this. They used yak hair of all
That's a
things
yak.
Nice.
for the Wolfman makeup.
Wow. All right. Well, let me bring my first one up here. I will give you the plot of the movie.
Ooh.
You will give me
Ooh.
the movie title.
Love it.
When a punk band scores their first tour, Life on the Road.
Green Room.
Oh, why'd you go so fast? Incorrect.
Damn it.
Life on the road proves tough when they are joined by a man-eating demon as a roadie.
Oh. Yes.
Band.
I know it.
When a punk band scores their first tour, Life on the road proves tough when they are joined by a man-eating demon as a roadie.
Sounds very familiar. I just,
Made within the last 5 years.
yeah,
Yes.
And that's
I've
the
seen
last.
it. I just
Yeah,
Yes.
everyone's seen it. And it was on my list for this year. I don't know if it was anyone else's, but it was on mine.
what
It's a
the
very
fuck
strange title.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Oh, it, Joe?
Joe?
I believe I know the second word, but I believe it is it
Huh?
Uncle Peckerhead?
It is Uncle
Oh,
Peckerhead.
that's
Good
right.
job.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's a really
Great
good movie.
It's a good movie.
All right. Guess the movie based off the cast.
Oh.
We begin with Martin Kleba.
Kleba. I never even knew it.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
he's
no.
a very famous little person actor. He's in a lot of movies. Like he's
Very famous little person.
probably like
Got
top
it.
3. Yeah.
Top 3 little people.
Yeah.
Got it.
Robbie Coltrane.
Coltrane from Gears of War.
No. That'd be awesome though. No, that's Hagrid. If you don't know who that is.
Hagrid. Got it. Thank you.
Kevin J. O'Connor.
Okay. Who's that?
Benny. Benny. Come on, you know Benny is from the other podcast.
Okay.
David Wenham. And finally, this is probably going to be the giveaway. Kate Beckinsale.
Is it
Underworld.
Sorry, which Underworld? Is that what
He
you
said
said?
Underworld, yeah.
That is wrong.
Oh.
Ooh.
It's wrong.
Oh yeah, I went fishing. I knew that. Someone would go.
You went fishing. Kate Beckinsale horror movie.
David Wenham, Kevin J. O'Connor, Robbie Coltrane,
Little
and
person.
Martin Kleba. I am leaving out one person.
Wow. I don't feel like I've seen her in a lot of horror movies besides Underworld movies.
I think I have one maybe, but
Is
I
it?
don't even
Oh,
know.
well, I'll go. Is it called Whiteout?
Wrong.
Okay. Back
Is
to you,
it?
Joe.
I feel like she was in this, but I could be wrong. Is it Van Helsing?
Correct.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I left
Sure.
out Hugh
Yeah.
Jackman.
Nice.
Hugh the Jack Jackman.
Yeah.
The
Directed by the same person who did The Mummy. That's why you get Benny from the first Mummy.
Oh. Cho.
Yeah, that's right.
Golly ma.
Alrighty, back to me.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. 3 letterbox reviews.
Mm.
Can you guess the movie?
I'll try.
All right. Number 1, review 1. This is a fun movie that doesn't take itself too seriously, yet has some heart as well. I especially loved the bond between these two characters. I guess they blew their budget in a certain scene, though. I also wish the final confrontation was a bit better because it was surprisingly really short. Overall, though, a solid watch.
That's mine.
That is Steve's, actually.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
gonna, is that
Steve's.
Oh, I have a. Oh God, that sounds. Yeah, obviously, it sounds familiar to my own review. Okay.
Okay. Review number 2. I've never gotten the appeal for this one. Everything and everyone just seems so hokey. The score is terrible, and the main character is a little shit. That is
Psycho
Todd's
Goreman?
review. Incorrect.
Oh, fuck.
I like it. Main character is a little shit. I don't know though, so let's keep going.
And the final review, and this one will probably be your giveaway.
Main character.
Third review. An
Okay.
alcoholic, a small town, supernatural elements, a narrator from the future, an
I know what
11-year-old
it is.
hero,
Yeah.
adults who don't believe what seems to be going on. The mix of horror and
I
detective
definitely know
mystery
this
is
one.
charming in its own way, especially for a nostalgia-loving audience.
You said how old is the kid?
11.
Oh, is it Silver Bullet?
Fuck.
It is Silver Bullet.
Yes. Because that
Yeah.
fucking little douche kid, man. I'm
Yeah.
telling you. Corey Haim is a little prick in that movie, man.
He is.
And then it makes sense. Gary Busey and Corey Haim, right? Is
Yeah.
the
Right.
connection.
Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right, number 2. Traditional question. What's the character's name? I know you guys like names. What's the character's name that the Gill Man from Creature from the Black Lagoon falls in love with in Creature from the Black Lagoon?
Is it
Lucy?
Kay?
Kay is correct. Steve, Joe's on fire today.
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah, baby.
And she is fucking beautiful. Was it Julie Andrews? Julie Adams? Something like that?
Julie Adams, yeah.
Yeah, she's
Or
gorgeous.
Julia Adams? Yeah, one or the other.
All right. Guess the movie based off the IMDb parental guide.
Oh,
We start with, oh yes,
oh,
sex and
oh, both of them.
nudity.
Oh, I like that.
Women wear low-cut tops that reveal cleavage in many scenes.
Love it.
I mean, it's
Violence
You
and gore.
gotta do it.
A man thrashes and moans, and we watch his body change. His ribs crack and shift, and fangs grow while
Oh, wow.
changing into a werewolf.
Okay, that can
Ooh.
be any number of werewolf movies at this point. So we'll wait.
indeed.
Unless Joe wants
I
to
have,
go.
I have a thought.
You
But
wanna
I'm
go?
waiting.
Yeah.
I as well.
Profanity. Fuck is said 3 times. Shit is said 3 times. Hell is said 3 times. Damn is also said.
Okay, they say the kiss
Okay.
words. Okay, and we got low cut cleavage shirts.
Correct. Alcohol, drugs, and smoking. People are shown drinking alcohol and smoking.
Well, people do that.
As it happens.
And here
Yeah.
comes the giveaway, I think. If you
I'm just gonna guess.
Do it.
I'm just gonna
Do it,
guess.
big man.
Is it trick or treat?
Wrong.
Excellent.
Friendly intense scenes. The shootout in the subway at the beginning of the film is very sudden and jarring.
Shootout.
Okay, that seems like it's gonna be
got-
Underworld.
so-
It is Underworld.
Oh, nice.
Kate, you went back to Kate Beckinsale, you little turd.
He did.
I did.
Kate Beckinsale theme this week.
I love her, dude. She's one of my
Well, she
all-timers.
was in 2 werewolf movies. Like,
That's true.
yeah.
Well, I mean, technically, what, like 5 werewolf movies? Because
Mhm.
Well, yeah, but 2
all the Underworld.
different.
Which I'm a fan of all of them, to be honest. And I'm not ashamed to say it. They're nice.
I'd have to rewatch them, but they were all like fine, you know.
Okay, back to Joe.
Back to me for my final one. All right. Guess the movie based on the IMDb information.
Hmm.
This movie was released in the year 1997 with an R rating, clocking in at 1 hour and 38 minutes.
I already know what it is. Like, I don't remember the fucking title.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
How
Categorized as body horror, dark comedy,
Mhm.
comedy, fantasy, horror, thriller,
Oh,
and werewolf
werewolf horror.
Rated currently sitting at a rating of 5.1 out of 10 on IMDb.
I don't want to say
Directed,
it.
directed by Anthony Waller. Writers John Landis and Tim Burns.
What was the year?
American Werewolf in Paris.
Correct.
Good job.
It is an American Werewolf in Paris.
That's not the one I was thinking.
I was thinking of Ginger Snaps.
Mm.
And John Landis came in. Okay, my turn. Let's
John
see.
Landis.
All right. Be quick with this one. It's a quote. You
Ooh.
give me the character, and I will give you the quote. Boy, the next word that comes out of your mouth better be brilliant fucking Mark Twain shit, because it's definitely getting chiseled on your tombstone.
Yes.
End quote.
What
The
sorry, what
character?
I need a character, yeah.
Oh, Otis.
Correct. Yes.
All right.
Otis from The Devil's Rejects, I believe it
Correct.
was.
Yep.
Yes.
Mhm. Otis Driftwood.
All right. Guess the movie based off the IMDb like trivia and all that stuff.
Fine.
Trivia.
I'll give it a try.
The gumball rolling down the stairs is a nod to The Changeling, another horror film shot in Vancouver, and it turned out the cameraman working the sequence also filmed the ball scene in The Changeling. It was one of his
Interesting.
first gigs in the business.
Fascinating.
Gumball.
All right. This is quotes. Clerk. 233. 30D. I mean, 234.33.
Talking about her
Thanks.
breasts. Interesting.
And she says, this might sound kind of forward, but we're just in town for a party tonight, and I was wondering what time you get off work.
Oh.
Clerk says, in about 20 minutes, actually. Danielle, the girl's name. Yeah? You know where Sheep's Meadow is?
Trick or treat.
Yep.
There you go.
Nice.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
That was actually pretty dang good. We got 9 points total tonight.
Wow.
Joe and I neck and neck, 4 and 4. Steve with the one.
Yeah.
Looks like quarter number 4 is kicking off.
Hell yeah.
Is that the first time all of our trivia questions got answered?
It's quite possible. Was there one not missed?
4, 8,
No.
9. No,
Wow.
that was perfect score. Yeah, we got 9 total and 9 questions asked.
Sweet.
Wow.
No one got the yak hair though. Bonus.
No, we didn't get that.
Oh, the bonus. The yak.
That don't count though. It's all right.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to think of that fucking name of that movie.
Which one?
It's the one with Christina Ricci in it.
Cursed?
Yes, thank you. Cursed. That's the one I was thinking of. But I guess it was 2000s, not 90s.
Alrighty, gentlemen. Well, thank you so much for your trivia questions tonight. And now it is time. We have tonight's main event of the evening, 1941's The Wolf Man, directed by George Wagner, starring Claude Rains, Warren Williams, Ralph Bellamy, Bela Lugosi, and Lon Chaney as the Wolf Man. Plot: upon his return to his father's estate, aristocrat Larry Talbot meets a beautiful woman, attends a mystical carnival, and uncovers a horrifying curse. Pretty basic, yeah. I mean, it's pretty good. But you know who can give us more details about this?
Who?
The best damn plot synopsizer in the universe, Todd.
Ooh.
Take it away, buddy.
Synopsizer. Here we go. All right, we begin with this, this swarmy little fuck, dude. Played by Lon Chaney Jr. He's a little swarmy looking. I don't trust the guy, to be honest with you. He's wearing a fedora. His name's Larry. He's going to his father's estate. Talbot, whatever, fucking castle. How the fuck do you say that? Say it for me. Talbot?
Talbot.
There you go. It's fucking tongue twist. I'm gonna go again. I'm going again. Fuck it. We'll do it live. Ready?
The best one in the universe.
Hey,
he got in your head with that.
I know. Gosh. All right. We begin the movie with this little swarmy turd wearing a fedora. His name's Larry. That's Lon Chaney Jr. He's going back to his father's estate, who is like this rich fucking baron. He owns a castle and shit. He is on a bunch of land. Everyone freaking jerks him off in town and stuff like that. We learned that he's coming back because Larry's been gone for a while, and his brother, I don't know if he's older or younger, but his brother has passed away. So Larry's coming back to kind of, bury the hatchet with his father and also mourn his brother, right? So he gets to the castle, and he immediately turns into a fucking creep. He has this a telescope, because apparently he's like a telescope guy or something, and he sets it up and he like starts creeping around town, and then he shoots it into this girl's bedroom, and you see it clear as day. I don't think that's how it works, but hey, 41 it did. And he's peeping on her as she's getting ready for her day, and it's just super creepy, man. Like, he's so swarmy. He decides to go into town, and it turns out her apartment, whatever, is on the top floor, and below is like a thrift store, vintage store, whatever you want to call it. He goes in there, immediately starts hitting on her, but not in like a cool, suave way, at least in my opinion. But he like gets like 3 inches from her and like stares into her face, and he's like, "I want the earrings," and he doesn't even look at what she's showing him. He's like, "No, that's not good. I want to try those earrings," and she shows him. Doesn't even look at her. Still staring at her forehead. "No, that's not good." And he's like, "Hey, tonight at 8 o'clock, how about you come on a walk with me?" And she's like, "No." He's like, "Okay. How about you go for a walk with me?" She's like, "No, motherfucker." 4 or 5 times she tells him, "No, I don't want to date you. I don't want to hang out with you." Motherfucker doesn't take no for an answer. He buys this wolf head cane, and every motherfucker in the story tells you the same fucking story. Oh, Wolfbane. If you see that, blah blah blah. He comes back at 8 o'clock. Lo and behold, she's there, and he's like, "Hey, I showed up to take you out on the date." She's like, "Motherfucker, I don't want to date you. I'm engaged." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And then she pulls out her friend, and then he's like, "Oh man, I'm not gonna get any." She brought her friend because I'm a fucking creep. They go to the gypsies coming to town, right? They go to their little party, and he's like, "Hey, let me get my palm read." Long story short, werewolf kills her friend. Larry kills the werewolf, but Larry's bitten in the process, and now we're following him as he's like, "Did I get fucking bitten by a wolf? Because like no one believes me because my wound healed, but this girl's been like torn to shreds. My shirt's all fucked up. I'm feeling weird." And yeah, we just follow along as he kind of descends into becoming the Wolfman, and people are like, the police are investigating him, and the girl that he's going out with is a hoe. She has she's engaged as she's going on walks with this fucking randomly swarmy guy and shit like that. Um, this is the second time I watched it. December 31st as my annual black and white, so this is a pretty fresh watch again. And each time I watch it, I just don't like. I like Larry less and less because he's just a creep, man. He like doesn't take no for an answer. He's very like sly and slick, and but not in a cool way. The girl has no business going out with him. He's fucking weird as hell. She's got a fiance, yet she goes out with him anyway. Um, that being said, like I absolutely love the sets. They're really fucking cool. I think the Wolfman look, obviously it's dated, but it looks really neat, and that's what you think of when you think of Wolfman. You think of him, and I just think overall it's a fun movie, even though it has some like border sexual predator vibes coming from Larry the whole time.
Interesting. I don't know the last time I've seen this movie, so it was a very, very fresh watch. First off, appreciate that it's only about an hour long. I mean, just fucking chef's
70
kiss on
minutes, dude.
that. Yeah, chef's kiss on that one. I got excited when I saw that. These Universal Monster movies are just perfect, man. Just like a nice, tight, short little movies. So that I mean that's just delightful. Um, yeah, man, I don't know. Like, I did not get the sexual predator vibes, honestly, from Larry. Like, I feel like he's just like sort of a little try to be a little suave, with with the women there. I mean, it was also a different
He's
time back
looking through
then,
her fucking
but
window.
well, he was.
Okay,
It's not
borderline.
his.
At least he's a peeping
Listen,
tom, at the very
listen. A
least.
little bit of a peep at top, maybe. You know what I mean? He said he was just, testing his telescope, but it's not his fault that it went towards her window. Okay. But anyway, Larry, I feel for the most part he's a pretty likable character. Yeah, man, I really I mean, Lon Chaney, I think gives a great performance here. You really feel sort of the fear and anxiety he gets along the way. I mean, man, these movies are just so funny. Like it just like there's like a murder happens in town and like everyone just seems sort of unbothered by it in a lot of ways. They're like, "Oh yeah, like Larry was like out there and he's not even like a suspect." I guess cuz his family's like rich and like all powerful and stuff like that. But they're kind of like, "Oh yeah, Larry, come along for the investigation or whatever like that." Even though like he's like well, I mean, he is seen killing a guy and they're like, "Oh yeah, he was just mistaken, there was like a lot of excitement going on and he might have just gotten flustered or whatever, and it's like no big deal." So I think that's all great. Yeah, man, the set designs are really fun here. I don't think they're as grandiose as some of the other great Universal Monster movies and sets. This definitely feels more on the smaller scale, but yeah, it's cool to see Bela Lugosi and his small little role here. Yeah, man, and I mean, for its time, I think the makeup is pretty awesome. We don't get a great transformation scene. You just see sort of the feet. But it does the job. You get the gist of it. How many times though are they gonna say that fucking Wolfsbane poem in
Every
this
time, just to
movie?
make sure you know it.
It is ridiculous the amount of times they say that fucking thing in like the first 10 minutes of this movie. But yeah, man, I mean, all these Universal Monster movies are great. There's a great charm to them. Is this the best of the Universal Monster movies? Probably not, but it's still enjoyable in its own way.
Yeah. I will also mention that this was actually voted by our Discord. So every year around this time of year, we do a Universal Monsters movie. This is our third time doing it, and They keep surprising me. I keep thinking Frankenstein or Dracula are going to get picked, and they picked Phantom of the Opera the first year. They picked Creatures from the Black Lagoon last year and Wolfman this year. So I'd seen it before a couple times. Last time was maybe like 12 years ago when I first saw the horror makeup show at Universal Studios because they referenced this movie quite a bit in it. And I am more on Todd's side on this one. I also think Larry is a creep. I mean, I don't know, Joe, but I think his thing is just pointed at her window like randomly is would not hold up in court. Like he straight up, not only does he point it like it's a fucking telescope, first of all, it should be in the sky, and he's like actively looking for a window to peep in, and then he peeps on her, but not only does he peep on her, he immediately goes downstairs, runs to that shop, which has got to be pretty far, it's a telescope, and then goes into the shop, meets her, and then tells her basically that he was peeping on her by being like, "Hey, I really like those. Was it like star earrings or fucking moon earrings or whatever the fuck she had?" And it's like it felt so gross to me, and it does continue that theme throughout the movie. Like he's constantly asking her out. She says no. Then it's revealed that she has a fiance. He doesn't give a shit. Later in the film, he even kisses her right after her fiance fucking leaves. It's just I don't know. I couldn't with his
Listen, he courted this woman. Gwen was all for it. Like Gwen never was you could like Gwen was into it the whole time and she even like wants to run away with him at
By
the end of this
default.
movie. No, I don't think so, man. Like she was feeling him. You could feel it right from the beginning. Like there was that chemistry. Like she like didn't like her fiance. I felt like she was like, "Oh yeah, I got a fiance," but like, she was like feeling it. She was like into him. So like I mean, yeah, like is his motives, I guess I don't know. Like I don't. I think he just liked her and had like a crush on her. Like I never got like creep vibes from him. So I'll take this one. I'll be on the
I
opposite
mean,
side on this one.
he liked her, had a crush on her. He just saw her through a telescope.
Yeah, but
Like
did he though, or like was he kind of like looking out his window? Like it could have just been a playful thing. We don't know like if he actually like like was doing that or not. Like it could have just been him joking with her too.
I know,
Like
I
we
think
don't know for sure. There's no scene of that. There's no
right.
evidence. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm Team Larry here.
Yeah, apparently. But outside of that, I think it's fine. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorite Universal Monsters movies personally. I do like the gypsy stuff. I like the atmospheric kind of vibe. That's just I love cemeteries, especially like old cemeteries when they show them in around this time, 30s and 40s and stuff like that. I just think they just give off a really cool kind of aesthetic. And I like the Wolfman makeup. It's obviously super classic now. I don't know if it'd look good if we saw it like today, but it was definitely great for the time. And if you hear like stories about how he did that makeup and all that stuff, and that it's actually really interesting. But there are just some weird issues, throughout the film. Like you guys said, he's like straight up killing people, and no one seems to give a shit just because he's part of a rich family. The gypsies is kind of a weird thing that they just come and go, and they come to have like a party and then they immediately leave, and it's just I don't know. I felt like the Wolfman story could have been like just a little bit cleaner and a little bit better. It just felt very messy and stuff like that, and I feel that we didn't see the Wolfman enough. Like Phantom of the Opera, for example, which was like awesome. It just once he's revealed, you see him for a while. He's like there's a whole scene of him, doing stuff. Whereas this, he's Wolfman for like a minute, and then he's not Wolfman. Then he's Wolfman again for another minute later, and then he's not Wolfman. It's just I wish there was an extended 10-minute scene where he's the Wolfman terrorizing people and stuff like that, and we just don't get that here, and that was kind of disappointing. But still a pretty good movie.
Yeah, I think this movie definitely suffered from budgetary like reason things because like you never like they talk about like this town and the town sort of in a panic and stuff, but like you never see like this like sort of town or like mob mentality or anything like that with it. Also, like only two people die in this movie. Like we needed a little more like I feel like death for there to be like this huge sort of panic in the town. And Larry only kills one person as the Wolf Man. The other one is when he gets bit. And also like I feel like the biting scene could have been a little better as well. But yeah, I think we could have used definitely more Wolfman in this. I agree, Steve.
I do like when he goes to the church and all the church people are like, they turn around like, nah, man, get the fuck out of here. And then he just leaves. I thought that was pretty cool. And I guess they do kind of show people being uneasy, but then again, they're like, well, he's the fucking lord of the town, which is, what is it? The town's in what country? Is it like England or where are we supposed to be at in this movie?
Yeah, I think it was British.
It's British? Okay.
Is it? I also like. Did
'Cause
anyone
he's-
else feel like he's like just as old as the dad? Like they,
Yeah, yeah, that confused me
I
at
was like,
first.
I was like, wait, that's his dad? Like,
Right.
what? I'm like, shit, man, that looks like it could be his like brother.
Yeah, absolutely. I love how the gypsy gives him a pendant, and it's like, you have to wear this pendant if you're going to be protected by the werewolf. It's very important you keep this pendant on. It's going to protect you, blah, 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 blah. He exits the tent and immediately gives the pendant to someone else. Like, he barely fucking had it on his skin for a minute before he hands that pendant away. It's just like, but then the pendant doesn't really come into play, like a little bit, but not enough. I don't know. It's just, I felt like it needed to go further in certain things, and maybe
Yeah.
it did need another 10 minutes or 20, in
It
this
probably
case,
did. It probably did. And I did like that you see the werewolf's next victim by having a pentagram show up on their hand. That was kind of cool. And it's really cool scene actually when he sees his potential girlfriend have it on her hand, and then that whole final confrontation happens, which I think is actually pretty brutal. Like in the end, you have his dad beating his son to death with a cane, which is cool because it's Invisible Man essentially killing the Wolfman, which is neat. Um,
Do you think Larry did that? Do you think Larry wanted to die? Like, you know what I mean? Because he's like, Dad, bring the cane, like type thing. So do you think he like
maybe.
do you think like he was like, I need like to be ridden of this curse, or do you think it was just sort of like a unconscious decision, just like, well, in case I do come and attack you, here's a cane for protection.
That's a good point. I wish it was maybe fleshed out a little bit, like seeing his inner turmoil would have been nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed. Yeah.
Can you guys guess how much this cost to make? Estimated in 1941?
Like the money in 41, or what the money's worth now?
I don't fucking know.
Do they have it
Money,
adjusted for inflation?
Yeah.
I don't know. It just says budget
Let's say
on
like
IMDb.
200,000.
You're close, 180.
180.
And it says gross worldwide $420, so that is 100% wrong.
Yeah, right.
But I wonder how much it made, because I bet this movie fucking blew people's minds back then.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Oh, for sure.
People.
I remember when I saw it
it
opening night, like people want to shut the fuck up. And I was like,
Yeah.
I love saying that same joke every time we do a movie like this.
In the movie, yeah.
Shoot. I mean, there's not a lot to talk about. It's so straightforward. He gets bit, and then it kind of ends pretty abruptly after he beats him. Like it literally title card.
Right. Yeah. That's like how
that
all these
happens a
movies
lot. Yeah.
were. Yeah.
The
Like all
older
these
the
Universal
movies.
Monsters movies. Yeah, for sure. Like it just sort of ends. I mean, the story's over, right? He's fucking killed, and I mean, he's thought of as the hero, right? Like they quickly just synopsize, oh, the werewolf must have came out or whatever, and Larry saved the day or whatever. So Larry is going to be celebrated as the hero and not the villain. So justice for Larry once again. Not a peeper, not a creeper. Love Larry.
Lovely. Do you know what the working title for this was? Destiny.
Interesting.
Interesting. Yeah.
Interesting.
So, a little fun fact for you.
Any
And my
wolf-
favorite from Venezuela, El Hombre Lobo.
Mm,
Pretty sweet.
cool. Any Wolfman merch in the collection, gentlemen?
0.
0.
Yeah. I probably have I have a Universal Monsters shirt, so I guess yeah. That's it. But that's it. I don't have any figures or anything.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
you
get
know
a
what? I do. You know what? When they did those fucking little mystery boxes there of like horror
Oh,
figures,
yes.
Yeah.
I do.
Those
I
are
did.
cool, man.
I made them all into Christmas ornaments. I like stuck a thing on top.
That's a good idea.
Yes,
And
I
I have Wolfman.
The mystery
yeah.
minis.
Yeah, I got one of those. Yep.
Mhm.
They
And
should
then I
bring those
have-
back. Those are cool.
Yeah. I have like a legit Wolfman figure. It came up like it was probably in the 90s. They made like a ton of these Universal Monster figures, so I got him. And then I did, unfortunately, I might be in storage actually, but back when they re-released the Universal Monsters in like the late 90s, early 2000s, I have like a life-size like Wolfman where he's holding like a VHS copy like from like Walmart or something like
What
that.
do you mean life? Like 5'6"
Yeah, yeah,
What? That's cool.
yeah. It's like a cardboard cutout sort of
Oh,
thing.
okay. I thought it was
Yeah.
like a animatronic
Oh
almost.
no, no, no! I wish. No, that'd be cool. No, it's like a cardboard like thing.
Sweet.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty cool. Cool little promo item. Yeah. I mean that it's a pretty basic movie. Like I said, it's only an hour long, so it's not like a ton to talk about here. So I think that's, it's pretty much wraps it up. I think we pretty much covered the whole movie, so we're not gonna bore you with just fucking meandering about nothing. So let's get in to rating it, gentlemen. Who wants to start us off?
I'll go. I give it a 3.5 out of 5. I think there's plenty of problems with it, but it's iconic, man. Like, you think of Wolfman, you see this vision in your head. I don't think anyone really thinks of, American Werewolf in Paris, London, Underworld, things like that. You see this Wolfman pop up with his little shirt and his hairy ass head and stuff like that. I believe Larry is a borderline sexual predator. I think he uses his stature to coerce women to date him, as seen in the movie, because he's like, "Oh, I'm 6'3". I'm gonna get in your personal space and ask you out repeatedly until you say yes." Because the implication. Larry's a creep, and 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. 3.5 out of 5. It's a fun movie. But yeah, I mean, I would say out of all the Universal monster movies, it's definitely probably one of the weaker ones, but still great. Like it's still fun in itself, and yeah, the Wolfman character, he's iconic, and without him, we wouldn't be getting these other wolf movies. So yeah, 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I'm a slightly lower at a 3 out of 5. It just needed more Wolfman. You call the movie The Wolfman. You need to see it a little bit more. There's just not enough of him, I think, in this film. It's still good. I still enjoyed watching it, but like you guys said, this is one of the weaker Universal Monsters stories for me anyway. So, but I will watch more of them. I know he meets Frankenstein at some point, and he does a bunch of other stuff. So I'm
Is it
sure.
Lon Chaney Jr. reprising his role?
I think so.
Hmm,
For a few of them anyway.
cool.
Yep.
And what do our friends at Letterboxd say? A 3.5 out of 5 currently over on Letterboxd. Also, I was looking at the very first review on Letterboxd, and someone just wrote, Larry Talbot is a weird creep in this. So I guess they're on your
Nice.
side. That review is on your side. So there you go. Justice for Larry, though. I think you know, he's a good guy. Although, be it some questionable porting motives. But, it worked out in the end.
I mean,
Although
he
he died.
died, but
He died, so, But he did get the girl, kind
you
of.
know what, man? If he wouldn't have gone creeper status, he wouldn't have been killed and eaten by a fucking werewolf or
It's
whatever.
true. It's
Because he
true. He
never
wouldn't
would
have went
have
on the
met her.
carnival. He wouldn't have went to the
Yeah,
carnival with her, and he wouldn't have gotten bit out in the woods. Yeah, it's
yeah.
true.
Fellas,
So,
come on,
fellas, yeah,
wrap it up, buds.
yeah, court your women without using a telescope, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Think with your big brain, not your little one. Come on.
Alrighty, gentlemen. I think that is going to wrap it up for this week's episode. We hope you enjoyed our review of The Wolfman. Next week, what do we got, Steve?
It should be obvio, but if it isn't, we are going back to probably one of my favorite reviews we've ever done, which is we're going to watch The Platform 2. The Platform was one of my favorite reviews we've done, like I said before. Also a really interesting episode. I actually went back to listen to it not too long ago to like prepare for The Platform 2. Not only did we talk about The Platform, but we talked about Tiger King, and we had just gotten into like we had just like the world had just shut down basically
COVID, yeah.
2 weeks before.
Hmm.
We call it Corona back then. Like
Yep.
no one called it COVID at the time really. It's a really interesting episode. It's like a timepiece that we have. But yeah, I'm very excited. It's coming out on Netflix on the day this episode releases, and I'm really interested to do what they're going to do with that concept. I think there's a lot of cool stuff they can do, but it could also be a lot of deja vu. Like I don't know. So Platform 2, that's what we're doing.
Awesome. Dude, I haven't looked into this movie at all. Like, I don't know anything about it. I have no idea what the plot is for this second one. So, I'm just gonna go in totally blind, and hopefully I mean, if it can be half as good as the first one, then I think we're gonna have a good movie here. So we shall see. So
Where's
go
that, Netflix?
Netflix,
It'll be
yeah.
it'll be on Netflix Friday.
Yeah,
Okay.
so go and check out the platform too this weekend. It will be streaming over on Netflix. Also, stick around for the end of this episode after my little spiel here for our interview with Jason Marsden and Remi Dee in preparation, of course, for next week's It's Just a Bunch of Halloween weekend, October 11th through the 13th in Salem, Massachusetts. Tickets are still available for some of the events. We've already sold out of some of the events, so go and check it out, see what's still available, and join us for what is sure to be an awesome weekend with the cast of Hocus Pocus. In the meantime, you can keep up with the podcast, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Threads. Just search the Horror Squad Podcast. You can also email us anytime, the Horror Squad Podcast at gmail.com. And of course, the absolute best way to keep up with the podcast is our Discord, completely free to join. Amazing community. Over there, we talk anything and everything horror, and we give you updates and behind the scenes info and first dibs on stuff like our Indiegogo, which is currently going on. A lot of amazing perks over there. We're making a movie, ladies and gentlemen. Help support the podcast, help support indie filmmaking. The final episode, it is linked over on our Instagram and all over our socials. So go, and if you'd like to support, throw a little money our way and you'll get some awesome perks like screen used items, scripts, everything. You could even, be in the movie if you want in a certain way if that perk isn't sold out. So go over and check it out over on our Indiegogo. And don't forget, leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast app. That helps us out immensely. Or you can buy merch, tpublic.com, the Horror Squad Podcast. I've been talking a lot. I already forget everything in this spiel, but hopefully I kind of said a little bit of everything. You guys get it. You hear it every episode because I know you always stick around for the end to hear Steve's amazing secret little thing he does. If you don't know about that, now you do. So there you go. Little Easter egg after every episode, which makes you want to stick around after our interview once again with Jason Marsden and Remi Dee. So stick around for that. We'll see you next week for the platform too. See you, everyone. Bye.
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 Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Horror Squad Podcast, where today we are joined by two very special guests. They will both be on hand and presenting many special events throughout It's Just a Bunch of Halloween weekend, which will take place next week. Can you believe it, folks? In Salem, Massachusetts, October 11th through the 13th. You can head to itsjustabunchofhalloween.com for all details and tickets. But please welcome performer and burlesque dancer Remi Dee, and also everyone's favorite black cat, Binks himself, Jason Marsden. Guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. How you doing?
Great. Thanks for having us. Good to see your faces. I can't wait to see them in person.
Yes.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. It's going to be grand.
Absolutely. Now, last year, of course, was our inaugural It's Just a Bunch of Halloween weekend, but we are going bigger and even better this year. Mars, can you tell us a little bit about the weekend? And then Remi, of course, can you tell us about your very special burlesque show that you're going to be doing?
Yes, Will. We are starting again with a party. This time the party is going to be at the Hawthorne Hotel. It's going to be, the theme is Samhain, because that's like, that's where Halloween started in Celtic Ireland back in the day, and there's some vintagey vibes to it. There's some witchy vibes. In our storyline, witches are celebrated. So if you want to dress as a witch, as you can see by my hat, I'm already halfway there. And then the next day, we'll be doing a meet and greet at the Salem Waterfront Hotel. That evening is a burlesque show, which Miss Remi will tell you about. The following day is a trolley tour around Salem. So I'm sure, if you've done a trolley tour around Salem and you see all the fun things and the spooky things and the filming things where Hocus Pocus was filmed, you'll be doing that, but the cast, we will be on the trolley with you. And then that night, because we just can't fit enough stuff into that weekend, is a screening of Hocus Pocus with myself, Omri Katz, Vanessa Shaw, Larry Bagby, and Tobias Jelinek on hand, on stage, providing live commentary to the movie.
Excellent. And Remi, of course, can you tell us about your very special, it's now sold out, so congratulations for that, burlesque show that we're going to be having at Cinema Salem?
Well, it's certainly not just my burlesque show. Miss Diamond Wigfall, a local Salem celebrity, has been the boots on the ground organizing and getting the other performers involved and everything. But it's going to be an entirely Hocus Pocus themed burlesque show. And it's at the same movie theater where they do a lot of Rocky Horrors.
Cinema Salem.
Cinema Salem, thank you. So very excited about that. And some of the cast members from Hocus Pocus will be introducing each act.
Yeah, you'll stink of us. Can't get away from us.
Awesome.
It's gonna be like that.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, last year I believe was your first time in Salem, right? Is that correct? For the well, Mars did not, but Remi, right? It was your first time in Salem. I know Mars, you actually came for Salem Horror Fest a couple of times, but I just want you guys really seem to obviously embrace the city. You even kind of came back over the summer. So I guess what is your reaction to the city and how much Hocus Pocus is really sort of in a lot of ways I think put it on the map. But yeah, what's your reaction to the city in general?
It almost feels like home. In a way, in our hearts of hearts. What do you think, being your first time being there?
Oh my gosh, I have grown to love New England to begin with, but I grew up in New Orleans my whole life, and I kept saying the whole time, I feel like New Orleans and Salem are sisters. Very similar vibes. I love that even though it was crowded, there was no menace. It was just a whole bunch of weirdos there for the same thing, to enjoy the witchy aspect of it, to pay their respects to the people who passed away through the witch trials. I feel like just the entire vibe is very kind and respectful and weird. Like, we're all just a bunch of weirdos at the end of the day, so it's nice to have a whole city where all the weirdos can come and converge.
We were there in the summer, and people are wearing costumes and Halloween motifs. Like, you could just do that all day, every day here. And you can. Love that. It's inspired. It's actually, being in Salem has inspired us to really like dress Halloween all the time. I still have I bought a lot of clothes at Blackcraft Cult because that place is dope. And Die With Your Boots On. Die With Your Boots On is one of our sponsors, so big shout out to them. So our closets are stocked. It's October forever in the household.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Shout out Die With Your Boots On. Actually, for those of you who are going to be attending the party, VIP swag bags, they donated some spooky socks, actually. Ooh. For those VIP swag bags that are really, really cool. I'll show them to you at the meeting tomorrow because they're nice. Really, really awesome. We picked them up today.
Thank you, Die With Your Boots On.
Yes, thank you, Die With Your Boots On. Coven, all of our sponsors, they've been amazing. Now, Mars, you've really tackled this event full on. This year especially, you've been the absolute MVP. And I think a lot of people need to know this about you and your fellow castmates, because this isn't just a normal convention / event for you. This is put on by you guys completely, complete, full on, boots to the ground, absolutely busting your asses behind the scenes. Yeah, I mean, I was discussing this with Larry and Tobias a couple of weeks ago, and I really can't think of another city or event where you're actually going back to, where the movie was filmed and doing a whole sort of weekend of events. I mean, one thing that comes to mind is, I know the Goonies, they do it, they have a sort of special event for that. But other than that, I really can't think of anything else. So what made you, I guess, you and your fellow castmates, want to do something like this for the city of Salem?
To come back, or to do it in the first place? Just
to do it in the first place and to come back and hopefully make this a yearly tradition.
Well, last year it was the 30th anniversary of Hocus Pocus, and Omri, Vinny, and I were looking at our calendars. We're like, got nothing going on. Like, what's that? Are you booked for anything? No, not me. Why isn't anyone putting us to work? I know there was a strike that was happening, and so legally we couldn't celebrate or anything that was disguised as promotion for a struck company. At the time, one of the struck companies was Disney, so we had to kind of dance around it. But we thought, you know what? Omri had been to Salem through you guys. He said he had a blast. He said the reception was wonderful. I had been to Salem for the Horror Fest, had a blast. I knew that Remi would dig it, and Vinny and Ami and I talked about like, why don't we just do it ourselves? Like, how hard could it be? Turns out it's very, very hard. It's not easy. But it was
What was last year Vinny's first time in Salem since the filming?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
So she hadn't been back, and the idea of going back to celebrate the movie in the place where they filmed it was very nostalgic for them. I think it's nostalgic for the people who lived in the town at the time, for the fans, because we went to the Max Dennison house. We got to meet the owners who were there, and they regaled us with tales of remembering what it was like when they were filming there. It just seemed like a no-brainer, and the infrastructure is there. It's like, Salem is like it's a compact little town. You can do so much within just a few feet of walking distance. And I love Halloween. I love throwing parties, and it seemed like a great place to do a concentrated event.
Absolutely. And it's so unique. And I think, when people come and experience this, they're just going to want to come back every single year. And this will actually be, I found out, Larry and Tobias's first time back since filming as well.
I guess
that's
so,
gonna be
right? Yeah.
super exciting as well. And
Yeah.
hopefully we can get them over to Marblehead too, to check out the cemetery locations. Because I think them recreating that scene in the cemetery would be really something special.
Oh, they're gonna like Larry. I think Larry's already prepared to do it.
Yes.
Larry is gung ho about his time playing Ernie. No, it's not Ernie anymore. It's Ice.
Yes.
In fact, if anyone's listening, it's considering going to the screening. There might be a very specific, special something that has to do with Ice and his haircut at the screening that you can only see there. So
yes, we talked about we talked about that on the interview. So it is if people who listen to our last interview will know what we're talking about. But if you haven't, go back and listen to that Larry and Tobias interview, and you'll know exactly what we're talking about.
Yes.
Now, Remi, you performed, of course, last year as well at the costume ball with an amazing horror themed horror/Halloween themed show. And I gotta ask, I've anyone that follows you on your social medias, your cosplays are always amazing and completely on point. I saw that you and Mars recently went to Disney, and we had a great meeting with the Goofy movie and stuff like, which was really, really cool.
You mean Goofy? Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that was really awesome. So everyone go check out Remi's social media as well. But I gotta ask, has performing sort of always been in your DNA, or was there a certain moment in time where you wanted to become a performer?
The short answer, yes. My dad's a musician, and back in New Orleans. So the tradition is, whenever a new baby showed up, a new kid of his own, a new cousin, a new niece, nephew, whatever, when we were babies, he would have us on stage singing. So, and he kept bringing me and my sisters on stage. So I didn't really get a chance to develop stage fright. And he would teach me a couple of songs, and I was in choir when I was a kid, but then I started singing more songs with my dad's band when I was about 13, 14. And then I grew up doing plays. So I can't remember a time when I've ever had stage fright, but I do know that like I've always had the bug. I've always wanted to be on a stage. And burlesque kind of came into my life through singing, because a cabaret troupe in New Orleans back in 2009 was looking for a singer. And I went to my first burlesque show in 2009, and I fell in love, and just like, I want to do this. And it's like burlesque, you do have to practice, you do have to polish it, but it's not as intimidating as ballet or salsa or tango. It's somewhat more accessible. So I kept watching it, and I was like, I think I can do this. And at a dive bar in New Orleans in front of 6 people back in 2011, I did my first public burlesque dance, and here I am.
That's awesome. Now, is there, I've seen you've done so many different themes and characters and whatnot. Is there a specific character or theme you like doing the most?
Pee Wee Herman.
Pee Wee Herman? Nice.
That's how we met. She was
Oh, nice.
cosplaying as Pee Wee Herman at Dragon Con, and I saw her from across the room riding a tricycle, by the way, a red tricycle. And I'm like, I guess that's my thing. And it turns out I like that. Yeah.
Nice. Steve, you got one for Remy?
I do. I'm actually curious regarding the cosplay. What is it when you see a character on screen that makes you think, okay, that would be a really cool cosplay to do? Is there like a spark or something specific you're looking for in the characters?
I love this question. Yeah, usually there is like a spark or a connection. Like Belle was a no-brainer. I grew up feeling like Belle was a kindred spirit since I was a kid.
Because you love books.
I love books
Yes.
very much, and or
You're
sometimes
very different from the rest of us.
Or if I just happen to really, really like their look or the costume, I might lean into a cosplay with that. I do feel like I really have to want to do it though, because it's time, it's effort, it's money. So, but I do have, because I used to be very wishy-washy about it. It's like, oh, I kind of want to do this, but I don't know. But now I'm just like, screw it, we ball.
That's awesome. And Mars, sometimes you also join in to the cosplay. I think of Jaws as being one that you've done fairly recently. That was pretty awesome. Is that something you love doing as well, or?
I mean, I've always loved, it just goes back to Halloween. Like, I've always loved dressing up for Halloween, and I couldn't wait. November 1st is when I try to decide my next Halloween costume for the next year. So cosplay, like doing conventions and seeing like how cosplay has grown, it's like, well, I don't have to wait every year. I can just actually do this anytime I want. And I think just through meeting you and us being together has inspired me tremendously. And I'd love to do it more. Again, it's just time. Gosh, there's not enough hours in the day. It was one Dragon Con. She was a Bruce the Shark, and I was Brody. Chief Brody. What else did I do? I did.
We did Batman and Robin.
Batman and Robin.
Last
Yes.
year.
Yes, I did a young Indiana Jones. I did the River Phoenix Indiana Jones, which in retrospect, I don't know if I'll do again, because it's just a weird seeing a grown man in a Boy Scout outfit.
You did Marty McFly from Back to the Future 3 as well.
Yes, yeah, and I met Elijah Wood in that costume.
Oh, that's a great. Now, Mars, obviously I got to throw in some Hocus Pocus questions here, because it's the big reason why a lot of these fans are coming out to see you this weekend. Although I remember you most honestly from your Full House days, as DJ's boyfriend there. That'll always hold a special place in my heart personally.
When little Joe was too young to go out on a Friday night, everybody
yes, of course, TGIF, but Hocus Pocus has really exploded in popularity, especially over the last decade. Like I said, it's a big part of why tourists are coming into Salem these days. There's been no signs really of the popularity slowing down. It's getting bigger and bigger, obviously, with the sequel now and supposedly a third movie coming at some point. And your role in particular is really interesting because you were brought in after the fact, to voice Biggs the cat. But I guess my question is, how would you say this movie in particular has had an impact on your life and your career?
I mean, it's definitely got me out in the public eye a lot more than I ever expected, especially for a movie that bowed in July. Halloween movie in July. It was not received well by critics. Did not do well in the box office, and it was a shame because I remember even when I was recording, and I recorded 2 picture. Seeing what was there looked fantastic, and again, loving Halloween, it really resonated to me. Thought for sure this is a flash in the pan. We'll never talk about it again. And then as the years went on, I remember I was invited to a friend's Halloween party. I would live here in Nashville, and they're like, "Yeah, it's gonna be a Hocus Pocus themed party." I'm like, "Oh, that's fun. I'll show up. I'll dress as Binks. I'll get like a black suit and ears and draw whiskers on my face." And they went all out, and in that evening I realized, okay, this is really special to these people. It seems to be special to a lot of people. And then someone took a picture of me, and that picture ended up on BuzzFeed, somehow. It's like, okay,
And 17. 17
and
magazine.
17 magazine. It's like, okay, and then every time you go to Spirit Halloween or Disney or Target, I mean, there's more and more and more merch. I think the biggest affectation is how many people tell me they have adopted a black cat and they have named it after me.
Right.
I don't know why they would name their cat Jason Marsden, but yeah, no, they would name their cat Binks, and it feels great, man. You know, I can imagine how like Peter Billingsley must have felt, you know, in his 20s and 30s, realizing that Christmas Story, got stuck in the hearts of everybody. So it feels great, and I get to meet folks like you guys, you know, and do these events in Salem. It's a wonderful perk.
Yeah, absolutely. And I asked this question to everyone I've had on from the cast. And I want to get your take on it too. When you're ever out, shopping at, the mall or Target or wherever, and you see, your character on a shirt or a Funko Pop and stuff, do you ever sort of like pause and reflect and be like, wow, like I really was part of something special, 30 plus years ago that is still relevant today?
Yeah, every time. Like we were just in Disneyland, and
Yeah.
everywhere there's either a Goofy movie shirt. There seem to be more Goofy movie shirts than I've ever seen, or Hocus Pocus shirts. And I always giggle to myself, and sometimes I'll comment like, "Hey, nice shirt," and they'll thanks. They'll say thanks and not, and I'll have not know who I was. Not that I'm trying to be recognized. Sometimes, but not always. But yeah, it's a great feeling.
Now, I don't know what you can tell us about this, but I did see a little tease yesterday over on your Instagram. Biggs definitely seems to be most people's fan favorite. And it made sense why I guess we didn't see him in the sequel. Although I think a lot of people would have liked to have seen some sort of cameo there. But from what we saw in your little tease yesterday, there's potential of maybe a Binks animated series ?
Yeah,
Might be
man, we're
happening.
trying. I've been kicking around this idea for a couple of years, and I'm working with these great writers. They worked on Muppet Babies and many other things. Max Bowdery and Francisco Paredes, Emmy Award winners, and we've come up with a storyline. The idea is, and I just want to be clear: this is a pitch. This is not something that Disney is approved yet. We're just trying to get the public to rally behind us. But the idea is like, in the beginning of Hocus Pocus, when the Sanderson sisters are hung, and Binks can't communicate with his family, and it just sort of fades out on Binks, and then cut to 300 years later, it's like, what happened during those 300 years? I mean, in our imagination, Binks couldn't have been just sitting vigil over the book, the grimoire, or the Black Flame Candle. He must have had adventures. He must have had to deal with the guilt and the trauma of seeing his sister die and not being able to do anything about it, having to deal with this new body, maybe dealing with other magical creatures, maybe traveling to distant lands. The ideas are endless, and so we're trying to explore that, and we've invited the public, the social media public, to join us on this, hopefully to create a lot of awareness and get Uncle Disney's attention. So it's a no-brainer that they come in and talk to us and see if we can put this into fruition. Because I do know I've been talking a lot with David Kirshner, who's our goddaddy of Hocus Pocus, and he's wonderfully on board. He started in animation, so he loves the idea of an animated series, and we have his support. We're just working this angle at the moment. But yeah.
Excellent. Steve, you got a couple?
Yeah, so I was actually at Disney World a few days ago, and it was amazing how many people had Hocus Pocus shirts and were just so like anxious to see more Hocus Pocus stuff. So that's a Halloween favorite for a lot of people, but I'm curious for you two, what are some of your Halloween favorites that you like to watch, whether it's horror or maybe something more of an intro to horror?
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Mm.
Easy. I feel like Psycho has become a little bit of a tradition too. I love like
Nice.
a lot of the older Halloween movies, like Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, and of course the classic Universal monster movies. But October, I feel like is also when we try to experiment with some new horror movies. We were just talking about it today while we were painting. There's a few in theaters that I want to see. There's some streaming that I haven't seen yet. So as soon as we get settled, somewhat settled.
We're still painting and unboxing.
Yeah, but definitely Nightmare Before Christmas is a special place in our house.
Yeah. Gosh, unlike Christmas for me, where I have like must watches. Halloween for me, besides It's a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, that's like, I can't continue into November unless I watch that. But I've always used October as an excuse to watch horror movies I've never seen before, or go really, 80s, 80s horror, 80s schlocky, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, that sort of thing. But there's so many horror movies, and during the year I never think to, or maybe I'm just not in the mood. There's some people like myself who aren't into gore all the time, Joe. Like I need a break. But I'm like in October, it's like no holds barred. Let's revisit something classic, something stupid, something new.
We watched the Phantom of the Opera last year.
Oh yeah, the OG silent.
Loved it.
Silent
Love
movie.
it.
Yeah,
So good.
Had never seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I worked on the Universal Studios lot when I was doing the Munsters as a teenager, there was a sound stage that had a portion of the set, the theater set with the box seat that was still there, preserved, and sadly that has been torn down. It's no longer there. But but to think like I was sharing space with such an iconic film and iconic genre, it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
What do you have any recommends for horror movies that we should watch this year? Anything?
That leads me to my next question. The one that I've been kind of beating the drum for on this podcast. I even got to interview the creative mind behind it, and the star is Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls.
Yes.
Which you had a part in. So I'd love to know, how did you become a part of that, and what are your thoughts on?
Dude, I fucking just asked. I was such a fan of that guy, Andrew Bowser. And I knew he was doing this. I was like, I just cold call. I was like, anything you need. I even contributed to the Kickstarter. I think they paid me, but I was like, they just gave me my money back for the Kickstarter. But he included me in table reads, and then gave me the part of the Box Demon. But I'm a fan of his for his character that he does, which I did not realize was a character at first. And if you've seen any of his short films, they're great. He's a great director. That's one of those things I push myself into that door.
Awesome. Two recommendations I can give you from this year alone would be Stop Motion, which is one I feel like a lot of people have not watched yet, and it was really great. Did you guys watch that one?
Yes.
Yeah, really like that one. And then Late Night with the Devil, if you haven't seen
watched that one too.
All right, you watch both of those. Both great movies from this year.
Okay, do we want to have a debate?
Sure.
You
didn't love it?
No.
You didn't love Late Night?
I didn't.
What would you have against it?
I think I had a preconceived notion what it was. Of course, it didn't. It has its own life, but I think it just got too bonkers too soon. When there was a lot more that it could have done. There was a lot more depth to I would love to just I love the idea that this thing was happening live, but there are a lot of things I just kept questioning. Like if we're going to ground this in a certain reality that just didn't make sense to me, and it kept taking me away from it. But I love the idea of it.
Yes.
Did you like it? Did you like it?
I enjoyed it up until the ending.
The ending gets a little bonkers. Yeah.
Yeah, the ending took me out of it a little bit and threw me off.
I can't blame you with that, especially when her head sort of splits open there at the end with the TV. It gets a little wacky there, but we had such a great discussion about it on the podcast. It made me because we just theorized on everything about the ending and stuff. So I think that made me like it even more. But what about you guys? Do you guys have any underrated gems you feel like maybe that is kind of underlooked that maybe people should check out? Doesn't have to be from this year, but maybe just in general. There's one that I always throw out to people because it was filmed around here. It was filmed in Danvers, Massachusetts at the old Danvers Mental Institution, which actually is now they turned into condos, interestingly enough, probably super haunted. But a movie called Session 9 that came out in, I think it was the late 90s, early 2000s. Definitely one I think more and more people should check out.
All right, Session 9. We'll add that to our rotation. I never heard that.
Mhm.
There's a little known horror movie called How to Make a Monster that
Oh, she's just being a great partner, life
it's
mate,
fun.
spouse.
It's fun. It's very campy.
Plugging the one horror movie that I was in. Yeah, it was fun. It was campy. But yeah, you could see something else.
I always
that
tell people to, I know it's 10 years old, and I don't think it's as underrated anymore because it has definitely gotten like a word of mouth following, but It Follows,
Oh, yeah.
massively done. But the horror movie that I watched like within the last couple of years, that it was the first movie in a long time to actually keep me up at night, Smile.
Oh, yeah.
We watched it before bed, big mistake, because every time I shut my eyes, all I could see was that creepy smile, and it's unnerving on every level. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to see the sequel because I'm too scared.
The sequel looks great.
It does look good.
I'm excited.
I just have to wait until I can watch it in my house in the middle of the afternoon with all the lights on.
Has it dropped already? Is it out?
It's in the theater soon.
It's very soon, this month.
Okay. One that hit me super hard, and I watched it like I think two more times after that, was Barbarian.
Oh, yeah. It's another great one.
I was just sucked in. I had no idea what it was about. Sucked in by Skarsgård. I'm like, oh well, this guy's awful, and then that changes, and then to me, like the scariest thing for me is darkness. Is not being able to. I'm such a visual person, so not being able to see what's in front of me. When I go to haunted houses, the scary part of a haunted house is the part where you're just walking in a corridor and it's just black, and you're like, what's gonna touch me? What's gonna grab me? What's gonna jump out at me? Barbarian had a lot of that. Yeah, the ending gets a little bonkers to Bobcat.
Right.
I would rather if it stayed contained, but oh my gosh, it was just fantastic. Oh, little note, I mean, anything that Fall House of Usher, that director,
Mike Flanagan.
Mike Flanagan just like hits home runs.
Yeah. And he's doing the new Exorcist.
Hush was very good.
I haven't seen it.
Hush is very good as well. Yep. And he's doing the new Exorcist. So let's hope, fingers crossed,
okay.
we get a good Exorcist movie from him as well.
Who oh yeah, what did I hear? I can't remember the director. He's doing the new Creature from the Black Lagoon.
James Wang.
James Wan.
Oh, James Wan, nice.
James Wan is
Yeah,
doing Creature from the Black
I don't
Lagoon.
even know if I knew that, but that's awesome. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for there. We get a Wolfman coming from Lee
that's
Winnell
right.
too is
Right.
coming next year. So a lot of great hope.
There's another movie that I do love, but I feel like I'm the target audience for it because I'm scared of ventriloquist dummies and I'm scared of dolls, and that's Dead Silence.
Yeah.
I wish I got to meet when we went to the horror convention over the summer. I got to meet the woman who played Mary Shaw.
Very
She's
cool.
wonderful, and she was so great in that movie. I'm so glad they got a Broadway actress to play her. But it does get like a little too far-fetched, even though it is a supernatural movie. But I still love it. Still scares the hell out of me, and I wish it would have gotten a little bit more of a nudge as a franchise, because I wish like she would have become as big a villain as Jason Voorhees or Freddy Krueger or Myers, you know?
Now, when you guys, okay, because you live and breathe horror, obviously, horror squad. You're a squad.
Yes.
You guys, and Sam and your partner Steve. Like when you guys watch horror, like do you still get scared? What do you still like? What is it that what do you look for? What's the feeling you look for when you absorb these movies?
That is a great question. I don't get scared, I don't think, anymore, because nothing really shocks me anymore. For me now, it's about like I'm looking for a great story, you know? Like I've really gotten into lately like the real like atmospheric, like slow burn horror, like The Witch. I think The Witch is like a masterpiece. Like from that came out, you know, within the past decade.
The kid who goes to that exorcism.
Yes.
I don't know what he's done lately. I was like, I can't imagine. I don't know. Brilliant. I don't know how you get a performance like that of someone so young. So good.
Yes. So I think like anything that like I guess, initiates any sort of reaction from me that's like different than sort of your typical horror movies. Another one that was like The Lighthouse, you know, somewhat horror, but that's one that like I was like, holy shit, like this movie's bonkers and just. I mean, I think, you know, Robert Eggers is like one of the best directors going right now. He's done everything he's done has been gold. And Nosferatu, I am so excited for that this Christmas. Like I'm going Christmas night to go see that one. So
Is that a Robert Eggers one?
yeah.
Isn't Doug in that? Isn't Doug Jones?
No, Skarsgård is playing Nosferatu.
Okay.
I don't know if Doug's involved at all, but not that
I'd
I
heard that Doug was involved
saw.
in a Nosferatu project. I don't know. That was
Oh.
a couple years ago.
And I'm kind of the same way. It's like it goes back to my childhood. If I get, you can even like echo something that I felt as a child that I can feel now, which is rare. Just it could be a moment in a scene, like Insidious, for example, when the man is behind the crib. It just freaks me out. And even getting that little rise, it's like, oh my God, that was awesome. I'm really happy because I had been a horror fan basically my whole life, which actually leads me to another thing that you worked on that has a Hocus Pocus connection is Erie, Indiana.
Mm.
Yes.
So of course,
Yeah,
starring Omri Katz.
yeah.
Do you have any? What are your memories of working on Erie, Indiana, and the reception to that
That
show?
that was one of the most fun projects ever. I wish I was still working on it today. Like it was so like I had just done a lot of I'd done the Munsters, and that was mostly sitcom work, multi-camera on a soundstage, and Erie was like making little miniature Twilight Zone movies every
Yeah.
week, and it's single camera, and we had a lot more room to play, and I loved the character that I played. For those who don't know, I was this. Well, the show is about this family that moves to Erie, Indiana, where everything is strange and weird. You know, Elvis lives next door, maybe. Bigfoot lives in the town, maybe. And the pilot episode it needs to be preserved in television history. It's as they move in, there's a Tupperware party, but the family, the mom is very 50s, and her children are very 50s, and the kids slip a note to the main boy, played by Omri Katz from Hocus Pocus. And then you find out later that the mom is keeping the kids preserved in giant Tupperware bins. Like just weird stuff like that. And then they brought me in the second season to be the foil for Omri and Justin for their characters. But oh man, like worked with great filmmakers, great directors, great actors. It was so much fun. And that's where Omri and I met. You know, we solidified a friendship. We talk about how, and he's talked about this, but I remember booking the gig and really nervous because like I'm the new guy. Omri is like the star of the show. I hope that he likes me. I hope that we can get in. You know, I hope that hopefully he doesn't want to get me fired or anything. So I'm just minding my P's and Q's. And one of my favorite things to do when I'm on a studio lot is to walk around and look in the facades and whatnot. And I'm going through the studio lot in the back, and I see Omri smoking a cigarette at 16 years old in a facade, which is basically, paper mache buildings. And he turns to me, he's like, "Don't tell anybody." I'm like, "I won't." I'm like, "Oh, there's no way I'm getting fired."
That's awesome. That's the show I think is due for a resurgence. Like I would love to see a reboot of
That'd be
Erie,
wonderful.
Indiana.
Yeah,
It would be so cool. I feel like it's like the right time, right? Because you just had a haunted Goosebumps one recently. Are You Afraid of the Dark recently? I feel like they all sort of those three shows like all go sort of hand in hand. And really, I feel like Erie, Indiana was really sort of the originator of that sort of spooky kid show. So I think it'd be perfect.
Produced by Joe Dante of
Yes.
Gremlins fame. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Hell yeah. All right. Well, guys, I mean, our time runs short here. I could talk to you guys all night, but we're not going to keep you here all night. But everyone, do not forget, it's just a bunch of Halloween weekend in Salem, Massachusetts. Next week. What? How is it
It's
already next
coming
week?
up. Oh my gosh, I'm very
Insane.
excited. The party's going to be off the hook. Everything is going to be wonderful. We're going to be exhausted at the end of it, but with big goofy grins on our faces.
Yes, it's going to be amazing. So everyone head to itsjustabunchahalloween.com for all details. It's linked obviously all over our socials. You've seen it. You've heard us talk about it every week for the past 7 months on the show. So you know all about it by now.
Yeah,
I can't wait. I know a bunch of our listeners are coming out to it. We're very excited. So come and hang out with us and the cast of Hocus Pocus all weekend. And if you have not bought tickets? What are you waiting for? You can use our code for the Friday party, Buncha Horror Squad 24. We'll get you 20% off to the party. So come and join us for that. I would say go to Remi's Burlesque show, but it's sold out. So congratulations, Remi, for your sold out show there. Everyone is going to be super excited to go check that out. And there's still tickets available for the meet and greet and the screening. So yeah, once again, just head to it's just a bunch of Halloween.com for any and all details. One last thing before we let you go, guys. Plugs. Let us know what you got going on, where people can follow you. Let us know.
Remi, where can people follow you?
At Remi Dee 504 on Instagram, TikTok. Follow me on TikTok. I'm very funny. And I still call it Twitter.
Indeed.
And my full calendar is on my website, remid504.com.
Can confirm she's hilarious on the TikTok. And all my TikToks that you like that are hilarious, that's her idea. But people can follow me on Instagram at Jason Marsden. I don't have the check mark because I refuse to pay for that. And TikTok, I think, is Jason Marsden Official or Official Jason Marsden.
Yeah.
Those things. And if you really want to follow me in Salem. You can follow me all weekend. You'll see me. Just, walk behind me, tap me on the shoulder. Yeah, you're welcome to do that.
Awesome. Well, guys, once again, thank you so much. And I've said it 5 times, but everyone, it's just a bunch of Halloween weekend. Salem, Massachusetts, next week, October 11th through the 13th, with the cast of Hocus Pocus. Do not miss it. We'll see you then. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Awesome.